I don't see your screen yet, Chloe.
Okay, let me do it again. How about now?
There we
Yep.
go.
Yep, we're good.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, thank you, Anne, and welcome everyone. So I'm going to start off by just giving some general program information and going over a little bit of the history of the grant and in terms of applications we've gotten. So yeah, we'll get right into it. So for the 2026 round of Montco 2040 grants, the deadline for this year will be March 2nd. Everything can be submitted online. As you probably know, only municipalities are eligible. They can partner with private or nonprofit organizations. They just have to be, the main applicant. They can also partner with another municipality, which we'll get talk about in a second. Grants range between $10,000 and $250,000, which is bumped up to $350,000 for multi-municipal projects. The grants require Most grants require a 20% match. However, this match can be reduced to 10% for some municipalities, ones that have a median household income below 80% of the county's median household income. And those eligible municipalities are in the guidebook, so you can access them there if that applies to your municipality. Projects must be completed within 36 months of award. This year, the budget for the grant program is 2.75 million, which is a little bit less than last year. So yeah, just a little under 3 million this year. And so since the program was started with the 2016 county comp plan, we've through last year, we received 259 applications for $37.5 million in requests. 157 grants were awarded for just under $21 million total. The average grant award is $132,250. And so far, 54 municipalities have received funding for it. So it's been a very popular program. We get a lot of applications this year. So yes. So what's this program fund? So there's a variety of different projects that can be eligible, but all the projects have to at least connect to one Montco 2040 goals of under one of the main themes that are all listed here. So starting with connected communities, which is obviously going to pertain to, either partnerships and or transportation improvements, connecting residents and workers to jobs and recreation and other amenities. So you're going to see, projects that deal with improving transportation quality, expanding or building trails, and anything that supports or, bolsters downtowns and just kind of those really connected, public amenities that we want to see that help improve vibrancy of a downtown. Those are all uh, possible goals to connect to. And for, sustainable places, this really pertains to your infrastructure and the environment, recreation. So something that improves stormwater management, conserves natural resources, anything that also provides really residents with a healthy lifestyle, parks, recreation, also supporting housing choices, to help meet the needs of folks, and anything that really enhances community character as well. And vibrant economy is, improving transportation access to business, anything that really attracts and retains businesses or local businesses as as assets in the community, and really just promotes the kind of marketing of the county and its assets. Any project that does that would be a possible goal under the vibrant economy theme. And as you probably also know, we have three focus categories that, while they're not required, we encourage applications to kind of adhere to one of these three focus categories: adaptation, resiliency, transportation and mobility improvements, downtowns and community destinations. They are generally viewed as more favorable by the review committee, so we encourage that. And now Chloe is going to go over some of the changing parameters for this year's grant program.
Thanks, David. Yeah, for those of you who are familiar with the program or may have applied in the past, there are two things that are different from last year. One is that we aren't funding open space preservation projects anymore, and another is that we've added a review criteria related to supporting housing and density. So first of all, I'm happy to announce that the county has a new grant program specifically for preserving open space. That is not this program. So this program will no longer fund open space preservation projects, but you can see here that you can look up Montco Forever Green and apply for a project to acquire or acquire an easement on open space. Municipalities are eligible for that program as well as nonprofit organizations. So please direct your applications to that program if that's what you're trying to do. The second thing is that as just part of the review, we're going to look at housing and density. As you all are probably very well aware, Montgomery County is a great place to live. It's a very popular place to live. Demand for housing is high, population is growing. So in order to support that, if your project, which can be any of the kinds of projects that support the goals that David already mentioned, is in an area that is developing new housing, zoned for developing new housing, or already a pretty dense place, it'll be given a little boost in scoring. And it's not mandatory, just like many of the other things we're saying, like the focus categories, you can still get a project award if this doesn't apply. And just some examples of what this might be: pedestrian safety upgrades that are near where some new housing has been built and there are now more pedestrians, right? So that would be able to be eligible for this extra housing and density criteria. A new pocket park near where there's some new housing, and there may not be a nearby playground for children living in that housing. Or a new pocket park where there's already dense housing but no playground. Amenities near transit, since we want to encourage, as the county grows in population, we want to encourage transit use. So a new bench, a new shelter, et cetera, at a bus or train stop could be eligible. And roadway and mobility improvements to address new transportation needs that come with new development could qualify for that. Okay, how do we evaluate projects? When someone applies for a grant, what do we do? First, we determine if the project is eligible. We'll get into that in a minute. Then we score it in 6 categories. We'll go through all of these in a little more detail in a minute. Then the project gets a little bit of a bonus. The project score gets a little bit of a bonus if it's in a focus category, and a little bit of a bonus if it comes from one of our contract communities. Again, every year we award projects that are not in a focus category and then are not from our contract communities. It doesn't mean you can't get a grant. That's just gives you a little tiny edge there. Okay, so eligibility, let's go to that for a second. Projects that are eligible must be some kind of physical improvement. Planning, design, engineering, legal fees are not eligible for this grant program, but they are likely eligible. They may be eligible as match for the program. You can talk to us for details. And projects must further one or more of the goals of Montco 2040 that were on those slides that David had. So these must be met to be eligible. Some things that we get asked about that are not eligible: staff costs. So if you are doing a really cool project and your public works team is installing the project, like something in your park, maybe the costs for the new materials, whatever else, are eligible, but the public works staff time not eligible if it's your own municipal staff. Municipal maintenance projects, replacing something that's already there, is often not eligible. In particular, we get asked frequently about playgrounds. If you have a playground and you want new playground equipment, this is not your grant program. So seek funding somewhere else for that. If you're adding new amenities to a park, like adding some new trees, adding some new benches, that's not just replacing something that's there, that may be eligible. Plans and studies, including feasibility studies, are not eligible for funding with this program. And anything that disperses the funding to sub-grantees is not eligible. This doesn't apply to working with a partner to do a project. So you can work with a municipality can work with a nonprofit or another organization to do a project that may be on the nonprofit's site or property, but it can't be a grant or loan program to disperse the funding to other entities. And then any project that will already be under construction by the time the grant is awarded is not eligible. Okay, then we have these 6 criteria that we look at when we're evaluating the project, and you'll get each project that's determined to be eligible will be scored in each of these 6 criteria. The first one is planning and county connections. If it's connected to a county asset that it will benefit, a spur trail from one of the county trails, something like that, that's positive. If it is mentioned in your municipality's comprehensive plan or regional comprehensive plan, that's great. If it's supported by other plans or policies that maybe have been done by the municipality or by another entity, such as DVRBC or the county, that would be positive for that score. The project impact, how impactful is it? How transformative, visible? Is it going to last for a long time? How many people would it serve? Or is it otherwise impactful? Funding, does this project leverage other funding sources? Is the project feasible? Is the budget going to cover what is proposed to do? And is all of the funding for the project secured? Again, this is not required. If you need this funding in order to get some other funding, you should still apply. It's just beneficial if we can see, oh, all the funding's in place except for this, and then the project can go. But we do award funding to projects that are still seeking additional funding as well. Project readiness. Has the municipality applying done other projects and successfully completed them? Have any preliminary steps been taken? Is the timeline realistic? The grant award projects must be completed within 3 years of the award. Does that seem possible based on what's applications provided? And is there a plan for maintenance? And finally, this new criteria of housing density, is the project going to support livability in an area that's developing? Is the project in a location that's zoned to encourage housing development? Is the project close to a transit stop or station? Is the project in an area that's already densely developed? And here we're looking at within our growth areas, right? So we want to encourage density and new housing in areas that are designed supportive of growth. And then our last criteria, diversity, equity, inclusion. Was there an outreach process that involved talking to the community about this project, or that the community came up with this project? Is there a target audience or people who will be served by this project? Is there a benefit to folks who have experienced disparities? Any other benefits to diversity, equity, inclusion, or belonging? So you make your case in your application on these 6 things. And I will mention about these 2 in the program guidelines. There's a full page on each of these in the appendices that I really highly recommend that you review before you fill out the narrative and submit it, because it will give you a lot of clues about great things you might say to meet these criteria. Stronger applications, we've just noticed that applications tend to do well if they have some aspect of inclusivity and equity, improving ADA access, or the project or location plans to provide supplies or classes at no or low cost. If public outreach suggested or supported this project, if the project activates underutilized space, if there's some kind of safety concern that the project's addressing, that's always probably positive. Creative or unusual projects, great. We have one community garden that was supported by this project that's pictured there in Ambler, public art or a mural, adaptive reuse of historic properties, if the project leverages other funding, if the project is multi-municipal, either officially in the application or will have sort of a multi-municipal impact. Whether it's not, it's a multi-municipal application, that's great. And I'm going to turn it back to David to tell you specifically how to apply.
Thanks, Ollie. So the application process is several elements involved in that, but it's all on the webpage, which we'll show. As you as you may or may not know, even if you have a multi-municipal application and involves more than one municipality, there still has to be one municipality as the lead applicant. Um, One of the things that's also important is just providing on the initial application form, we do ask for the name of the chief elected official and the contact or the primary contact for the municipal uh the municipal person, but it's really important to also name who is going to be the main contact for just the project overall, because we'll be a lot of back and forth with communicating throughout that process. We just want to make sure that we are um, contacting the correct persons for the overall project, especially if it involves more than one municipality or party. And submit the initial form ASAP. And again, that's online as well. And you can follow up with our three spreadsheets, which are going to basically be the budget, the breakdown of what your costs are going towards from the grant, and also other funds, and how the grant plays into that overall. That is important to submit those as in the Excel spreadsheets that are provided, just for ease of our own review. We've had some municipalities before submit their own forms or their PDFs. We just respectfully ask that you submit the Excel format that we provided for the budget, and also the narrative. We just ask all the pertinent questions about the intent of the project, and the DEI aspects that are included as well, and the overall timeline. So that's of course a critical portion of the application package. And going over to the web page here, so you can see this is the web page, montgomerycountypa.gov/Montco 2040 grant program, which is all the information that you need in terms of just background on the grants, and then the deadline, links to all of the funding, all of the application information, the form, the spreadsheets, as well as the brochure and the overall guidebook, which has all the information that we talked about here, and then Chloe and my contact information as well. And going forward for next year, so as you may know, we are currently working to update our county comp plan, which is Montco 2050, a comprehensive plan for a changing world. And it's still, being ironed out, but we anticipate a revamped grant program in 2027. So you obviously stay tuned for that, and please, let us know if you have any, after going into next year, please let us know if you have any thoughts about how we can improve the programs, because we're always looking for, we're always analyzing things that can be improved, things that we can do better, what we should be considered there. So yeah, please let us know your thoughts on that. But yeah, it will be a we anticipate a different program, or a revamped program going forward. And finally, if you have any questions, please reach out to Chloe or myself. Here's our contact information right here. And we're always happy to we want people to apply. We want people to get their funding, so we're happy to help you out in any way we can. And yeah, again, applications due March 2nd of this year. So we look forward to hopefully receiving your application. And thank you very much. And I think we have is it time for any Q&A now?
Uh,
Yes.
we've got some questions in the Q&A section. I don't know how many people can see that, but we've got a question from Dave Lay. They have a project in mind, but still need to acquire an easement. Would the project be considered prior to the easement being formally secured? It's like a quiz. I don't. I'll give my answer. I don't know if the two of you will agree. I'm going to say yes, we would consider the project, but if you can supply us with as much information as possible on where you are in easement negotiations, if you have already been discussing this with the property owners, if they are amenable to this project idea, that the more information you can provide us with, I think the better off we would be in making a decision about whether or not we could fund this project.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it would make the project ineligible if the easement was not yet secured. It just might not be quite as strong. Or if you say, we've already negotiated, we have a draft settlement agreement, but we haven't actually settled on it yet, that any information would help. And then, oh,
Yeah,
Scott, you want to
I'll
add
jump in
something?
too. And I want
Sure.
to say hello to everyone. I'm Scott France, Executive Director. I've been busy here in the background, but and have to head out to another meeting. But thanks all for coming and your interest in the program. It's been a great success so far. On that question that was just asked, I would just add to the answer that that is a criteria, site control essentially. So any gaps there, or if it's not quite there or uncertain, that certainly would have a probably be a realistic factor on the scoring of a project. So we do encourage people to do that. Doesn't make it ineligible, but it does make it more of a challenge to get confidence in the project's viability. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Scott. Okay. Next up.
I saw that you
Those are-
answered T Garber's question, but I will just share for a second this map here. Someone asked, what is a contract community? It's a community that has a community planning assistance contract with us. So this is the current map of contracts as of 2 days ago, I think. So anything that's shaded here, that still counts as a contract. So anything that's within the regions or these other communities that are blue or pink have contracts with us. If you have questions about that and you don't know what we're talking about, you can get in touch with us more.
Mhm. Then we have one from Kristen Orr. We prefer the application and supplemental spreadsheets. They would be submitted together. I know we said in the slide to submit ASAP and then follow up with other documents. I mean, we generally prefer them to be submitted together. I think we've had municipalities before. We've had them send in like the initial application form and then, but still meeting the deadline for everything though.
Where I would encourage an applicant to submit the initial form as soon, like now, even if you don't have the other stuff together, because that gets you in our system it just asks.
It just adds you, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it just asks like what project do you want to do? And just a couple sentences about it. It should be easy to fill out. And then like we did last year, David, we would follow up with applicants asking if we had a question or looking for other information. So yeah, just that first link on the website. Just go do that right now.
Sure.
Or maybe after this
I
webinar.
will add to that if you don't have everything by that March, what do you say, March 2nd deadline?
2nd.
Frequently, we'll have municipalities that need to pass a resolution in support of the project application, but their municipal meeting doesn't happen until the week after the deadline or something like that. That's fine. You can submit that last piece of information, that resolution, after the deadline. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a good question that we did not address. And there's a similar question that just appeared. How many applications can be submitted by a municipality in a single year? So a municipality can submit up to 2 applications per year. If it's a multi-municipal application, that doesn't count towards the 2, but we will only award a maximum of 1 award per municipality. So if a municipality has 2 different ideas, they want to submit them both for a better chance of an award, because I think it would increase your chances. You can submit both, but we're not going to award both. We're going to award 0 or 1, hopefully 1, because you've upped your chances. So, and this one of the specific question asks about a nonprofit, but the municipality wants to apply for their own project. Probably we would award only 1 of those projects. If it's a municipality partnering with a nonprofit and then the municipality also applying, you can submit them both, but we're not going to award them both if they're in the same municipality. Okay, so I think I covered that one.
A link to the community planning map as well.
That's a great question. I mean, Eric updated this 2 days ago, and my guess is that it's not online anywhere, but we can share it. Send us an email if you want that map.
I was going to say you could put it in the chat.
Can I? Maybe. Sure. Maybe. If you have a question about a specific municipality, like, do they have a contract? Feel free to ask us. Municipalities generally will know if they do. I did try to put it in the chat and it looks like it was successful. So, okay. Think that's it for questions, right?
I don't see anything else.
Anyone else have anything they want to ask us about related to the grant program? We are recording this.
You
We can
you
put
only
this
sent
up.
it to the host panelist.
Oh, whoops. I
I
did
wonder
this
if I can
wrong.
change
Sorry.
that.
I know I have no ability to send it to all the participants, which is weird.
Yeah.
Please reach out to us if you have a question about whether a municipality has a community planning contract. We're happy
Maybe I
to
can fix this.
figure that out, let you know. Oh, and there's a new question appearing. When are awards announced? Good question. May or June? Probably you'll hear in May, but I don't want to make any promises.
Late,
So let's say
late
June.
May, maybe.
And then from then you have 3 years to complete the project. You're very welcome. Thanks for attending. We can hang out for another couple minutes in case anyone has additional questions. But oh, looks like Anne
I figured out how to
able to
send
put it
the map to
to
everyone.
everyone. Great.
Like all of the other things that we give a bonus point or a fraction of a bonus point for, it is not like the boost that you get is small. So the planning contract status, we are pretty liberal with that interpretation. So if you're part of a regional planning group, if you've done a one-off project with us lately, and had a short-term contract, like we do try to take all of that into consideration.
Yep. All the things we're evaluating, no project ever meets every single one. So, go ahead and apply. But make sure your project is eligible. If it's not eligible, we're not funding it. Good. Well, we can post the slides that we used and the recording also on the Montco 2040 grant website, so you can refer other people to this or look back at the slide deck if that's helpful. And please reach out to us if you have.
Yeah, if you are not sure if your project is eligible or have other thoughts, we're happy to talk with people in advance of that application deadline. That's not a problem at all. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you. Good luck with your
Thank
projects.
you.